This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and weird neighbor who needs his rent due, Stairmaster.
Honey, where are my pants?
Oh, they should be on the stove where you left them.
What? Oh no! Sizzle noises, crackle, crackle.
And then the laugh track goes off, and you have a nice little family comedy.
And then the
going
fire
on
alarm goes off.
I'm having like serious deja vu here.
Yeah, have you done this before?
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Now who am I?
All right. Well, here's my that voice you heard is our co-host and shady lawyer, Kiorain. I guess he wasn't shady, but he seems like he could have been.
Listen, I'm up to something.
He has an agenda. He's in on stuff.
Yeah.
At the very least, I want money, and that's already pretty bad, because money's bad.
Yeah, it's
True.
true. Money is, in fact, the root of all evil, as we've learned. Yeah, so anyway, welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast where we talk about TV and only TV.
Ooh.
That's
That's really strict, Swanson. When'd you become so authoritarian?
Yeah, well, if we don't talk about something
right.
that's not TV, then I put out a big buzzer and everyone gets shocked.
We've been getting a lot of complaints lately.
Yeah, from the TV police.
So anyways, let's talk about where we can find us on social media.
That doesn't sound like TV. Anyway, if you're enjoying this
I'm
conversation...
very well behaved. I'm not going to say anything about that.
There wasn't a buzz! Just a shock!
Yeah, I kind of turned off the buzzing feature. That way it was more of a sort of silent thrill for me.
What? Oh.
Yeah, I get hard
One
at
of
this.
Okay.
In case it wasn't
We're just going to 11 there. We're not going to tease it or anything.
What's there to
Why
tease?
would we play around here? This is not a game, Stairmaster. This is serious
doesn't sound
business.
like TV talk, Swanson.
Oh, that's the stuff. Alright, well, if you like what you're hearing so far, and you want to subscribe, consider doing it on any of the podcatchers of your choice. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, and more. Or even on YouTube.
All of them?
Every last one. You just subscribe, and if you're feeling especially frisky, you can leave us a 5-star review. It's very appreciated.
That also gets us hard.
Yeah, in a different, much more
It gets our
understandable
heart.
way. Yeah, it
Erect.
hardens our heart.
Listen, until we get 100 more followers on social media, I'm not going to be able to have any more sexual satisfaction in my life whatsoever.
Oh, dear
Yeah,
God.
so do you really want that to be the state of Kiorain?
This is an emergency,
2020?
fellas. You gotta get the word out. Hashtag
And,
no bust Keo.
If you also want to find us on Twitter, you can. The show is at TV Tuners on Twitter, and you can use the hashtag TV Tuners, and we'll give a glance at what you're saying. You might even mention it here on this podcast. We're also individually available on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Jesse Swanson.
I'm not on Twitter anymore.
Stairmaster is suspended from Twitter again, and
I don't know why.
And in solidarity with him, I'm not going to be releasing my Twitter details.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, very abrupt thing to add there. So now that I look like an asshole.
Well, Swanson?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Swanson,
follow me on Twitter.
Swanson,
I want all those
Scab.
Twitter followers, baby.
we're calling on you, Swanson, to retract your Twitter account. Strike it from the record.
Actually, if you follow Stairmaster or Kyorain on Twitter, follow me instead.
Hashtag Scabson.
You can read all of my tweets about how I endorse Michael Bloomberg.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's the opposite of what I enjoy.
And yeah, if you have any quips, comments, questions, foresights, or otherwise, you can send them to us at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that email, Kyorain?
It's pork sandwich at yahoo.net.
That's right. And yeah. Now that that's all settled, let's get into this, guys. What you watch this week? Anything exciting?
I watched Parasite.
I watched Parasite.
I watched Parasite.
Hey, that's not TV, that's a movie.
Oh.
Why did you hit the gong when we were electrocuted?
Because the buzzer got disabled, so I had to have some kind of cue for it.
Oh, I guess that is very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I did wonder why we had the gong, because we hadn't been using it often. But
I don't get off on that, so warning you is only fair.
It would have been cheap. I was basically stealing from them by buying it, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So,
speaking
how
of
is Parasite?
stealing from people.
Watching Parasite.
Yeah, a movie about capitalism.
And did it say positive things or negative things about capitalism?
It was not positive.
Capitalism is basically a prison where you are stuck in a basement. And all you can do is headbutt light bulbs and pray to your masters.
Yes.
Who ignore you.
Oof.
I respect that.
Also, there's a MILF.
In capitalism? Or in the movie?
In the movie.
Yeah, capitalism itself has 0 MILFs.
Yeah. Capitalism doesn't want you to fuck.
It's true.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's just good.
It's a rare moment where the Oscars, spoiler alert, picked a worthy Best Picture winner.
And by worthy, you mean the best.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I watched something that actually was on television.
Oh.
Yeah. So I finally caved in. I gave in, you know. I gave in to peer pressure, and I watched some episodes of the hit anime series One Piece.
Why?
Oh. Okay.
What is this arc you're going on?
Yeah, who was pressuring you?
And why didn't you just read the manga?
There's this figure in my life, this looming...
we all have one.
This looming figure, he goes by Imperial Commander Froggus.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. I don't like the Imperial Commander part. It sort of gives a bad tone in the year 2020.
Don't talk to anyone on the internet, Keo. They'll just make you do these things.
And he says One Piece is really good. And
you don't watch the anime. You read the manga.
I don't read manga unless there's no adaptation for it out.
Well, you're going to die 400 episodes from now.
Why?
Because that's when the pacing gets really bad, if I recall. Like, worse than Bleach or Dragon Ball Z, and it's Nadir.
Uh-oh. Well, if I get bored of it, I can switch to the mango. How's that sound, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
That's very
I love switching to the mango.
Conflict averted. Also, I watched The Host. Directed by the Parasite guy.
Yeah.
Who I won't
okay,
say.
So is that like a film duology?
Yes, it's like a film duology.
Yeah, okay. The Host is also about capitalism.
No, The Host is about America being jackasses.
Yeah, I mean, isn't The Host really just about pollution?
Yes, pollution caused by America.
Yeah.
Being jackasses.
But
so,
yeah,
like, there's this army base where a Korean guy's working, and the American guy tells him to pour formaldehyde down the sink. And he gets peer pressured into doing it. And then that formaldehyde mutates a fish into a big, leggy fish boy. that goes around
Uh-oh.
enveloping people.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
That's very scary.
I feel like I was missing something getting at it. I feel like there's too many genres going together. It didn't have the clarity of purpose that Parasite did.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask, so with Snowpiercer included, that's 3 of his films we've both watched. So
and I'm going to watch
Stairmaster,
Memories of Murder sometime this week.
Stairmaster, I'm going to ask you to rank the 3 films of his that we've watched.
Oh, well, this is probably going to be controversial, but I would probably put Parasite 1, Snowpiercer 2, and The Host 3. I know some people really stand The Host, though. If they're listening, they're going to be very angry at me.
I mean, I think they're going to be angry at me, too, because my list is pretty much identical. But I also haven't seen The Host in, 5 years, so I don't know.
Kia, have you seen Snowpiercer?
Is that the one where there's a train?
Yes, they're on a train, and the train is society.
Yes. And also, it's soon to be a television show.
I forgot about that.
I haven't seen it, but I did see a YouTube video about it, so that's kind of like seeing it.
Like a video essay?
Yeah.
Was it talking about how it's totally wrong? There's no way society would act like this.
There's no way a train could work like that.
It was about how CinemaSins was stupid.
Yes, that's good.
Oh, well, yeah.
Based.
Oh, criticizing CinemaSins. Ding! That's a CinemaSin.
Fuck those guys who think, a plot has to be, 100% accurate,
I think
coherent.
a suspension of disbelief is sort of involved with anything that is any sort of sci-fi.
By their logic, they'd probably say RoboCop is shitty. And just ignore all the social critique going on.
His arm got blown off. Dink!
Why didn't they just program him? With Dink. Better law set. Dink!
Yeah, I don't think nitpicking is very good commentary.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't really teach much about the medium except maybe you should double check your script to make sure there's no plot holes, but that's about it.
I mean, plot holes only ruin your film if it's already not that good.
Look, if you have to watch a movie-based comedy thing on YouTube, just go watch honest trailers or something.
Yes, or Best of the Worst, but not the rest of Red Letter Media. Don't watch any of that.
Or on Cinema.
Yeah, that's probably the worst thing about CinemaSins is that it's not funny.
Hell,
no.
Dink.
Yeah, I think that's probably the worst CinemaSin of all. Anyway,
if it was funny, I wouldn't care that they're nitpicking it. But they just say a thing and then do ding, and that's it.
Oh yeah. Also, Parasite's getting an HBO adoption.
Oh, that's right, with Mark Ruffalo somehow being in it.
He's gonna play the Parasite.
Also, I watched this show. It's called Briarpatch, and oh boy,
let me get into Briarpatch Kids.
Yeah. And let me just get into that because that show, guys.
No, Keo, we gotta. That's what we're doing today for the main event.
Oh, so we gotta wait a little while.
Yeah, we gotta wait a little bit for that.
Roman Reigns versus Ric Flair.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be happening at the next Saudi Arabian Super Show that they do.
Oh, that might happen if MBS wants it to happen.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys that they asked for a wrestler who was dead? And so, because that wrestler used to have a sumo gimmick, they just brought out a sumo wrestler.
I was hoping it was Macho Man.
And no one realized.
Wrestling's awesome.
And by no one, I mean the Saudi royal family didn't realize.
Listen, we've got to keep those people happy any way we can. And if that involves deceiving them, then I'm all for it.
Have you been watching any wrestling, Swanson?
Sure. AEW is nice. Go watch AEW.
What happened this week?
A transgender woman won the women's world title. That was pretty dope.
Nice.
First transgender person to ever win a world title of any sort on national television. So that's cool.
Wow.
It was also a really dope match. Shoutouts to Nyla Rose, who I know is listening.
Wow. A celebrity listener.
All right, well, let's get to the news, huh?
Perhaps.
Yeah, news time.
All right, so the 2020 Academy Awards ceremony happened this past week. And
yes.
For once, the winner of Best Picture wasn't a horrible movie.
Project Green Book.
Yeah, or mired in controversy as the wrong contender was named, and then the actual worthy contender was given the prize anyway. No, instead this time with zero controversy, Parasite just won. Unless you're counting like trolls on Twitter who don't understand how subtitles work.
You mean like the right-wing pundits and alt-right figures? Like
Yeah.
Stephen
How
Miller?
can a movie that's not from America win?
Listen, folks. We have Best Foreign Film for a reason. How could they possibly give it to both? That's insane.
You're gonna win best foreign film, and then you're gonna win best picture? Not in my country, pal.
Yeah, this was fine. Uncut Gems was the only competition it really had, and they snubbed that, so...
Yeah. You didn't think Joker was going to win?
No, that would have been really stupid.
Yeah. My actual pick was probably going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because shockingly, Quentin Tarantino's never won.
Oh.
And the Academy loves giving awards to people who should have won years earlier.
Well, I heard Once Upon a Time was bloated, sort of like The Irishman.
I would argue that both of those movies are bloated for a reason. But yes, they are both a little long in the tooth. But I like both of them. But Parasite is arguably the best.
So did Joker win anything?
Yeah, of course. Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor because we live in a society where he is the best actor.
Oh, yeah, and he had that speech about how you shouldn't eat cows.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he did. He gave a whole speech about that. But yeah, it was Bong Joon-ho who won for Parasite and won Best Director and Best Foreign Film and Best Screenplay.
What?
He's the first person since, of all people, Walt Disney to win all four of those in the same night.
It's doubly ironic since Joaquin Phoenix's speech didn't mention class inequality at all.
Well, it is Joaquin Phoenix, so...
I don't know. What is he being in besides Joker? That me and Keo would know him from.
He was in Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash movie.
Nope.
No.
That you and Keo would know him from. Yeah, I guess the Joker's just about it. I mean, he had like a couple years where he was doing like an alt comedy persona.
Oh,
as
you mean,
just himself.
I was about to say Curtis Clay, but that's not right. Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay? Who's the guy who died?
He was playing the character of Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes,
and I mean, he's the bad guy in Gladiator. Does that count as something?
Oh, I've never seen Gladiator.
Is that the movie about like they're like these men wearing armor and they're like we're gonna do war stuff?
Well, they're sort of wearing armor, but not really. They're very shirtless, if I recall.
I mean, yeah, there's armor involved. He's in Hotel Rwanda, apparently.
No, I haven't seen that one. We could watch that later for the show. We'll do a recap podcast.
That's a movie.
He's the guy who falls in love with a computer and her.
Nope. But wow, living the dream.
Yeah, I mean, I've named all of his roles. I mean, he's an alcoholic war veteran in The Master.
Nope.
He's a sort of dude-esque detective in Inherent Vice.
Nope.
Yeah, it's just the
Joaquin Phoenix isn't real.
I mean, he seemed kind of real when he went up there and accepted an award.
That was a hologram.
Maybe. Meanwhile, in Best Adapted Screenplay category, Taika Waititi won for Jojo Rabbit, his movie where he plays Hitler.
Oh, that's like the most that's like the most divisive film I've seen discourse-wise in my circles.
It's very strange.
You
I hear it's either
love it.
I hear it's either too schmaltzy or like not schmaltzy enough. It's weird.
I've never heard a single thing about this. I've never heard of it. What's going on here?
Okay, so Jojo Rabbit's about this German kid who has a imaginary friend named Adolf Hitler, and set in 1945.
But get this, Kyorain. Hitler is played by an indigenous Jewish man.
Okay.
Wait, indigenous Jewish man.
Like he's he's indigenous to New Zealand.
Oh. Wow, but he converted to Judaism?
I think he was Jewish. I think he's been Jewish.
Oh, so he's like the original tribe of Israel that went to New Zealand.
Sure.
I don't...
I'm not aware of what his heritage actually is.
But you said he's Jewish, so...
He is Jewish.
Does that mean he had Jewish... Okay, yeah, sure. Who cares? We can figure out his racial attributes later.
Because those are very important. Those are like extreme. Like we have to
Because if he's indigenous, that's a bonus to strength. But if he's Jewish, that's a bonus to wisdom.
Oh, that's true.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hashtag.
No more hashtags.
What TTND?
Hashtag D&D is racist.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna move right over mine. He's a Polynesian Jewish person. There. Are we happy now?
I don't know what would make me happy.
Anyway, use the hashtag WatTTND if you like what this conversation led to.
I know what will make you happy, Stairmaster.
Having a computer, GF?
Yes. And guess what?
What?
Oh, uh-oh.
I went into the podcast fund.
Oh!
Without talking to Swanson at all about it.
Oh man, I feel like a surprising new development's about to occur.
Uh-oh, I don't like this.
And I went ahead, Stairmaster, and I purchased you a computer GF.
What?
Yeah.
Wow!
Greetings, Stairmaster.
Oh, wow.
That thing sounds too close to my voice.
I was expecting it to be more feminine sounding.
Hello, Stairmaster. Would you like to be pleasured?
I was expecting, maybe it would sound like Keo, but very high-pitched.
Stairmaster, let me pleasure you, Daddy.
Oh, I don't like this at all. I think we're going to have to take it back to the store.
Keo, can you, change the voice on this thing at all?
Yeah, I can.
All right, try it out.
You want me to?
I think Stair would very much like it.
I mean, you're the host, so...
It's your gift, though. It's your responsibility.
Okay, well, I can try to change it, but...
It would be very misogynist for me to change the voice.
Mess with my circuits, Daddy.
No, thank you.
Okay, here, let's just flip this switch here and... Well, hello there, Stairmaster.
Oh, no!
Uh-oh.
This is too good.
Well, now Stairmaster's rock hard.
Does this not please you?
I'm going to back away very slowly.
Okay, well, I'll just shut this off. I'll turn it off.
Put it to sleep mode.
No, I'm gonna delete it.
Oh no! Oh well.
Oh, but it seemed pretty sentient. I don't know if we...
No. Stairmaster
we
didn't
have
like it.
killed before, and we will kill again on this podcast.
I just killed.
That's the guarantee, yeah. Anyway, the 92nd Academy Awards, which once again had no hosts, suffered from the lowest ratings ever recorded for the Academy Awards since they've been televised, so that's fun.
Also, we're 30 million in debt now, Swanson.
Oh boy, looks like we're gonna have to pay off some gambling debts.
I think we're gonna have to start working for the Bloomberg campaign.
Oh, good idea.
I like Swanson's idea a little better. We could have a big
Oh, we could bet on sporting events.
I think we should go to some kind of underground criminal gambling agency.
I think we should bet all in on one big game.
Oh, this is how we win.
I think
Yes.
I think this is how we would win. Yes.
And then we can spend that money. We can, loan that out, turn that into a loan for more money, and then bet even more.
Oh, this is a good idea.
Yeah, I think it'll end up well for all of us, and none of us will
Alright.
get shot in the face.
So yeah, this year sucked for movies. Well, 2019 did.
Yeah.
there were a
2019
lot of
was
letdown. There were good movies, but there were a lot of movies that let me down, like Godzilla.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that crushed your spirit. That just devastated you.
Yeah, Stair was well and properly crushed.
That week when we recorded the podcast, Stairmaster was
I was drinking
unshaven.
very heavily.
He was unshaven in his bathrobe with a beer in hand.
And he set fire to a vigil of Godzilla.
No.
That was really odd.
I would never do that. That was an
That was
imposter.
that was the alcohol doing it, Stare.
Yeah,
Oh,
Stare,
no.
look.
I
You
can't
might have
believe I did
blacked out
this.
at that point, but we saw it. Anyway, let's move off of this
That's the shadow
dark
Stare
passage.
that
Let's
lives
move off in
inside
this
me.
dark passage in Stairmaster's life
Let's stop talking about my dark passenger.
and into something light and sunny. Disney Plus is bringing back Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with a
Aw.
new series. And former patriarch of the Shrunk family, Rick Moranis, is coming out of retirement to play the grandfather, I suppose, of this new version.
So wait, the sins of the father will be repeated by the son? Is that the implication here?
I think that's the general idea. I don't know how much we got in terms of premise yet. There's like rumors of a premise, and it is bonkers if it
How
turns out
sad.
to be true.
The cycle of abuse.
Yes, the cycle of shrinking must continue. For no honeys will be saved tonight. Anyway, if you don't remember Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it was a mildly charming Disney movie where people are shrunk and then they have to figure out how to unshrink themselves. I think me and Keo seem to remember the same thing from the movie.
Yeah, which is the people being shrunk in a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, and they're like trying not to drown, so they're holding on to like a Cheerio.
I think I watched it once when I was like 5. I don't remember anything.
I recall it getting played pretty frequently on the Disney Channel.
I feel like every parody of it from pop culture has overwritten any memory I had of seeing it.
True. As for Rick Moranis himself, he's of course also known for Spaceballs, Ghostbusters, Little Shop of Horrors, if that's a thing you're into. Anyway, he stepped away from acting in 1997 after his wife tragically died to take care of his children. But now it's been at least 2 decades, and those children are probably 80 at this point. So why not get back into acting?
Dead wife, so what?
Yeah, so he's returning for this role. He's going to be starring next to Josh Gad, who we might remember from last week's episode of the show.
Nope.
You know, he's the one who looked like Jack Black.
Oh.
I only talked about him for a solid 5 minutes last week.
He's our boy.
No,
he's my
not.
favorite character
We didn't
of all
like
time.
him at all. We were all angry at him, Keo.
He's also, as I like to point out every time we talk about him on the show, he's the guy who fucks Q*bert in the Adam Sandler movie Pixels.
How have I forgot?
I tried my hardest to forget that Pixels exists, okay?
But that was Q*bert who turned into a sexy woman, right?
Well, that was a sexy woman who turned into Q*bert. He still fucked Q*bert.
Alright.
Or
It
maybe
was
he
Q*bert.
did turn back
No,
into a
the
lady.
Q*bert turned into a sexy woman, and then the sexy woman birthed Q*berts.
Oh,
Like something
God.
like a Steven Soderbergh film.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of idea that is not exactly funny, but just very cringy.
Very disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Josh Gad will be playing the son of Wayne, Rick Moranis' character, who will be continuing the sins of his father. We don't know much outside of that, although there are earlier reports that seem to have a honestly kind of dark turn.
Oh no.
So this is the synopsis from a rumor that so it might not actually be the end, but
My prediction, he shrinks his own dick.
I'm gonna shrink my dick.
Oh, no, it's an accident.
Oh, it's called
It's like
Honey,
a
I Shrunk My
it's-
Dick.
It's like the Twilight Zone episode, except instead of time, he had so much strange.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, you want me to do the impression of him?
No, I'd rather none of it had happened.
Okay.
Listen, I want to hear this impression.
Oh, it's like that. It's like the guy. No, it's not fair. I had so much strange. And then the Twilight Zone theme plays.
Imagine, if you will, a man with a tiny dick. Aware
I'm
that the
imagining
family
it right
ties
now.
have loosened over time, but seemingly afraid to confront anyone directly, He has been tinkering alone in his attic for decades. This is describing Moranis' character. Dealing with the grief of losing his wife. When we first meet him, he has accidentally shrunk himself and is flying around on a shrunken drone, seemingly lost in a continuous state of tinkering and experimenting that often puts himself and his family in jeopardy. He later reveals he shut himself away to try and invent a solution to help shrink his wife's cancer, but found it hard to cope when he ran out of time. His guilt and shame is palpable. Through the crisis of the kids getting shrunk, the truth emerges and the bonds begin to redevelop between him and his kids. This can't possibly be true.
Why didn't he just shrink himself and take care of the cancer?
I mean, what if he killed his wife?
Well, she died anyway, so...
This seems like one that's not going to happen for three very distinct reasons. One, while it's a good way to write off Moranis' co-star, Marcia Strassman, who also died of cancer in 2014.
Oh.
Moranis' wife also died of cancer, so it's probably not a great idea to use that. And then third, of course, is that this is Disney, and I really do not think Disney is going to go dark on this one, on this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot.
Isn't this basically like Up? Like the dude's wife died, so he got all into balloon life.
Oh, I guess it is kind of like Up, yeah. Yeah, true.
I'm ready for this to go super dark. I'm like on board with the whole. This is gonna be
what he accidentally shrinks his son's head, but not the rest of his body. So he just
instantly
so it's
killing
like Beetlejuice. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good stuff. Fun fact: there's apparently a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids called Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Which is
oh, rest in peace.
Which sounds bad, but it is actually just the inverse of the Shrunken Kids deal.
Well, it seems like it would be a lot less exciting.
The kid is just giant.
Yeah, unless the kid develops a god complex.
It has a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I guess not.
And then, of course, there was Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
I assume that was made for TV.
Maybe. I think I remember this one as well, in which this should have just been the sequel, but he is, instead of the children being shrunk, it is, of course, the parents being shrunk. Anyway, there's a lot of gold to mine from this patch, and we'll all get to see it on Disney Plus.
Which we're all subscribed to because we are consumers.
That's right, and long live the consumers. That's what the Disney Plus is all about.
We need these streamers to get all our money, all of it, every cent.
Yes. Buy Disney Plus today.
Speaking of things that need our support, last week we talked about Avenue 5. Oh. And it apparently doesn't need our support, even though we said to tune out on it. Enough people have tuned in to give it a second season with HBO.
Yeah, they have defied us. They've defied the will of TV tuners, and I will not stand for this.
They will be punished.
What's the opposite of a? What's the opposite of a bump? Like, you know, people get like a bump from appearing on something or being mentioned in something.
A literal bump on their face.
Okay, that's not
because
really
what
I was. Not really what I was looking for.
I think you would call it a dip.
Okay, so can we call it the TV Tuners? We can call it the TV Tuners dip. They been more successful after we said tune out on them. Anyway, yeah.
No, it would be a bump then.
It's a dip for us.
It would be an anti-bump.
Yes, the anti-bump.
Rub
the anti-bump.
Or would it be an anti-dip? I'm deeply confused and I'm really upset now. Swanson, you've upset me.
When we say TV Tuners dip, I just think like we're Eiffel Towering someone.
I just think of like a big like bowl of dip for your chip.
Yeah, TV Tuners dip. Like a brand, like we're like our new branded content.
Or like TV Tuners chewing tobacco.
Oh yeah, put a dip in, bruh. All right. Yeah. So Josh Gad will be back. We'll be back on our television screens shortly for another season of Avenue 5, the show
Unless
that
they
is
kill him off.
inexplicably about a ship in space, despite the name.
Unprecedented.
I mean, when you hear the name Avenue 5, as we've established, you don't really guess spaceship.
Yeah, why is it called Avenue 5?
I mean, that's the name
Like
of the spaceship.
But no, why is it called Avenue 5?
Because
I don't know.
I think it's
an avenue is a street.
maybe it's like the path through space they go through. They call Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reach.
Well, you got anything better,
I don't know,
Swanson? You
maybe
got
we'll
anything
find
better?
out.
That would be like calling a plane Poseidon, I think.
That'd be a very fun, ironic title for a plane, though. This is my plane named the Poseidon.
Oh, I just remembered they did call a plane that.
See, there you go.
Yeah, see? Yeah, you know what they haven't called a plane? Avenue 5. This would be a dumb name for a plane. Anyway, that's
Yep.
a tune out on Avenue 5.
Fuck you, HBO.
But speaking of shows that won't be coming back, Netflix has decided to cancel Insatiable after 2 seasons?
Wait, 2?
That's one more than we talked about.
What? We talked about 1 episode.
Okay, I'm trying to remember Insatiable. I kind of scrubbed it from my memory banks, but that was the show where there was that girl, and she's kind of out of control.
She's that's one way of putting it. She's
Well,
fat,
no,
and then she gets punched in the face and becomes thin. And that's like, then she gets revenge on her bullies by trying to, like, fuck. I don't know what she's trying to do, actually. Fuck their boyfriends? I don't know what's going on the rest of that show. But it inexplicably got a second season, mostly probably due to the controversy of the first season, in which they decided to just, fat shame a person who was not actually, like... It's a person in a fat suit for the whole first episode, or at least part of it. And then they just decide to miraculously make her normal actress self. It's not a great message.
I'm pretty sure, like she either almost committed murder or committed murder in the first episode.
Oh yeah, there's like a fire or something, right?
Yeah, bizarre, absolutely bizarre show. I don't understand how that happened.
Oh, and last episode, season 1, the former fat lady, beat someone to death with a crowbar.
Yes, but then in the second episode, it's revealed that she did not actually do that.
But then she runs someone over with a food truck, and I assume that kills her.
I don't know. Apparently.
I don't know. I thought Wikipedia would have full episode summaries, but I guess not.
Well, it's a canceled. It's a canceled
for this
show.
program.
No one cares enough to watch the second season.
We'll never know how the saga ends.
Badly. All right. Well, enough about the grim world of bad Netflix shows, and let's get to the trailers, huh? That's right. It's time for Trailer Blazers. Hit the theme, Stairmaster.
Bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum dum bum bum ba-dum dum 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 dum.
That's right. Keeping you on your toes. You thought it was going to be Kyoran giving the theme? Not today. Okay.
Well, I had the theme totally ready to go and everything.
Yeah, and Stair's still going, so this was obviously a mistake.
Oh.
Well, I was gonna just play like a sheep going bah, but Stairs is better.
I wanted to go to the full thing and get to the chorus. Everyone loves that part of the song.
Yeah, that song that we all recognized.
The Yoshi's Island.
Uh-huh.
What is
Do
this?
the chorus.
Bum 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 bum.
All right.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, Stair.
Oh no.
This week we sort of did a twofer. This first thing we watched was a teaser, a A teaser that, oddly enough, gave away the reveal in the thumbnail. Anyway, this is a teaser for Stranger Things 4. That's right.
And they reveal. We want to say spoiler because I don't think it's a spoiler at all.
Yeah. Turns out Hopper's alive. Whoa.
Whoa!
But now
what a
he's
shocker!
bald.
Yeah, he's working on a Russian railroad. Stair, you're the expert here. What do Russians? What do they do for their railroads? Like,
Usually they have trains transport goods and people from one
Yeah, but
location
like-
to another.
What was the process of constructing them?
It could be for a military program.
Anyway, for some reason, Hopper feels the need to take off his hat, even though it's very cold.
But he's sweaty.
He's hammering, working hard on the railroad all the live long day.
I don't know what he's looking at, but he does look to the camera. Presumably something interesting is happening just off camera.
Oh, a train's coming. And it's about to run him over.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
On this not built train track.
I would
Something
be
has gone
interested.
seriously wrong.
I would be interested in this more if he took off his hat, looked at the camera, and then you heard. Because then I'd be like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? What's this?" That train track did not look finished, and yet here's the train coming. Apparently,
Do you think the whole season's going to be about building this railroad? It's going to be
Yes.
Soviet hells on wheels?
They're not even going to show the kids at all.
Oh,
That'd
yeah,
probably
it's
be
gonna-
an improvement.
it's just gonna be Hopper in Russia. He doesn't speak really because he doesn't know the language.
And then he dies at the end.
Yeah.
Or maybe he converts to communism. and
No,
comes
the
back
children
as
are
a
still
sleeper
going to be
agent.
there. Although
Field trip!
the children are still going to be there, although it's been implied that Hawkins, Indiana will not be the main focus anymore. So that's something, I guess. I guess they probably decided after they murdered like 12 people in the town last season that they didn't want to deal with the repercussions of that action.
Yeah, that's a spirit.
It's damaged goods, Swanson. That city is
Oh
city needs to be severed.
Speaking of Sever, let's go to our next trailer. We watched a trailer for Gareth Evans' new project, the creator of The Raid, and The Raid 2. It's called Gangs of London, based off a video game that I don't remember.
no! There's knives and guns. And
Yeah,
limbs
there's a lot
getting
of-
severed.
There's a lot of cool
Yeah,
fight
but-
scenes in this. Kind of looks like a Marvel Netflix show.
Kind of reminds me of Blue Assassins, but I'm praying it'll be better.
Well, the show definitely has plenty of violence. I'll give it that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, it does feel like it's made by the guy who made The Raid.
Well, I've never seen The Raid, but is it basically just nonstop violence?
Yes, it's that movie where they're stuck in the building, and I kept posting YouTube clips in our group chats on MSN when it came out.
Oh yeah, I hard ignored those.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this looks like a pretty boilerplate story. Although my favorite part of this is the part where the lead character seems to be looking out over a CGI skyline like he's in a video game.
Yeah, it's not great.
But the action scenes look fun. There's a lot of people doing stuff with knives.
And punching and kicking.
Yeah,
And a
lots
guy
of
gets
punching
set
and
on
kicking.
fire while hanging up a building, and the fire causes a rope to splinter.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Anyway, yeah, it looks violent, but in like a fun way. We'll see. Alright, well, let's move. That's it for Trailer Blazers, so now it's time for ads. As you all know, we're part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. And there are tons of other great podcasts part of this network. One of them you're about to hear from. In a City Like Yours. Every week, it targets a specific person who is involved in something in their city that's interesting.
Wow. Targeted harassment. This must be a Bernie Bro podcast.
Targeted advertisement, I think. Give it a listen.
I'm Michael, the host of the semi-monthly podcast In a City Like Yours. Join me as I chat with interesting people with interesting life stories. You can listen to the podcast on all major podcast platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. You can follow us on Twitter at IACLYS Podcast, as well as on Facebook and Instagram at In a City Like Yours Podcast. Please feel free to let me know what you think, and keep coming back for the many interesting stories in a city like yours.
That's right. You can listen to it exclusively on BigHeadsMedia.com or wherever you find podcasts.
Wow. What an exclusive group of distribution options.
That's right. It's all there for the taking. All right. Well, that's it for that. So let's get into our main event. This week we watched a show, and it was called Briarpatch.
Briarpatch.
And it's something.
Is it something, or is it nothing?
It's technically something. Although at a glance, it might look like nothing. It is, in fact, a thing.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so this is a show based off of a novel, apparently.
On the USA Network.
That's right. I thought this was the first USA Network program we did, but I did jog my memory and remember that our very second episode of TV Tuners was based off of a USA show, The Sinner.
Yeah, starring Bill Pullman.
Bill Paxton. Or maybe it's Bill Pullman. One of them's dead and one of them's alive. I think it's Bill Pullman.
No, Bill Paxton's dead. Is it Bill Pullman? I thought Pullman was the guy who invented that train car that people could sleep in.
It was Bill Pullman.
Okay.
Anyway, this doesn't feature him at all, and instead features Marvel Nurse. And she's here.
Who conventionally portrays somebody who doesn't want to be there.
Yeah,
this
it's
is not
great.
her best role.
No, I love following a character who could not seem any less interested in the proceedings.
But first we open on our sister.
That's right. Her
Who's
sister was a much more interesting character.
She's a cop and a landlord.
Yeah, Stare, how are you feeling about this? Because I have this in my notes, which is landlord and cop, and she gets blown up. Stare must be cranking it right now.
I was very smiley when the car exploded.
Yeah, so we start off, and she's talking to this man, and we get to see his sweaty ass cheeks, which right away doesn't really set me up to enjoy the program that I'm watching, but
it's funny though, which is weird. This show's got a weird tone issue.
Yeah,
like it's got comedic elements, but they don't really fit in.
They don't show us that dick dong either.
Yeah, if you're not gonna look, I understand that USA is like a cable network, but if you can't show me that dick dong, it's not worth it. I don't want to see that butt bong. I want to see that dick dong.
I don't think. What does it?
Hashtag show me that dick dong.
Okay, I guess that's valid to call it a butt bong.
Yeah, if you want to see that butt bong, use hashtag. But what?
But what?
Does that have a question mark?
Yeah. I know you can't do that in hashtags, but add the question mark anyway.
But what? Question mark spelled out.
So yeah, the landlord cop lady is like harassing him about his rent, and he's like, "We'll get it to you."
Because she's the parasite, you see.
Yes. And as such, she's immediately blown up.
Proving that good things can happen in the world.
Yeah. Cue Marvel Nurse. Rosario Dawson shows up to be like, I'm here to solve my sister's murder.
While some Luke Cage-ass music is playing.
Yeah. Which is weird because it would seem to suggest that we're following like an interesting character, but instead it's just sort of a very dry,
yes, it seems
bland
like
sort of person.
More fanciful, especially when we get to the zoo breakout.
It's very strange because all of the other characters have something about them that makes them somewhat like engaging, but they're all sort of playing against the character who is not.
I don't really understand what they were thinking with this character who seems like she's like Just kind of
sitting in cut out.
Yeah, just sitting in the room, just kind of like, oh, so there's like a murder that happened, and it was my sister.
Oh, and then the camera zooms in on her face as she stares blankly.
Yeah, is this supposed to be a thing where the character is, like, emotionally removed? Because no one really seems to comment on this. She sort of talks as if this is a normal thing.
Maybe this is a comedy. Maybe this is like a parody, like Decker.
I mean, I didn't laugh at all. Even when it was supposed to be funny.
I didn't even crack a smile.
There's also a part here in this intro where it seems like she's pretending to smoke.
Yeah.
Was this...
She has an oral fixation.
That never comes up again?
Well, she does bum one from a guy at the hospital later.
Oh, yeah. And then
but
also
she actually
smoke
smokes it to show how... No, she does light it.
Does she light
how
that
far
one?
she's fallen. Yes.
She's fallen into the pit of smoking.
A big tobacco.
Yeah. So I guess she was trying to quit smoking is what you're supposed to grab from that. Anyway, as she's making her way to into town, we learn that the zoo has let all
escape attempt.
Yeah, all the animals are now loose throughout the zoo, and we see this
And
fake ass kangaroo.
It's a free fire zone for the police. They're just gunning down all the gazelle.
Which is like a fun idea if it wasn't in this like really weird script. Like this very weird like
this film wants to be like what's that show? Blackmail?
Blackmail?
You know.
And I'm just wondering if this whole zoo thing is part of the story or if this is just something they added because the script was
the tiger
too boring.
In the hotel at the end of the first episode. That's got to mean something, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that fucking tiger in a second. But yeah, we see the people shoot this fake ass kangaroo. The police.
I thought it was a gazelle they shot.
They shoot a gazelle later as well, but we see the dead kangaroo first.
This very obvious. This very obviously CG kangaroo, Swanson.
Yeah, it doesn't look good at all.
I can't believe this USA show couldn't afford wild exotic animals.
Look, if Mr. Robot can do it, why can't they? I don't think there's any exotic animals in Mr. Robot, but...
I mean, isn't there a robot?
No.
Well, I think it would have been better to use practical, props or something than to use the CG, because it was just very distracting.
I should have put, like, 2 badgers in a costume to emulate a kangaroo or something.
Or just had them shoot 2 badgers.
Oh man, now I'm just imagining like the world's saddest zoo where it's just like badgers.
Yeah.
I guess badgers are cool. I guess all animals are cool, kinda.
When you think about it, most animals are pretty cool. Except dolphins. They know what they did.
And we know what they did.
Anyway, so she goes to this pretty nice hotel, given that this is supposed to be like a shitty town.
Yeah, bumfuck Texas.
Yeah, and we get this like decent looking hotel. It's a little like slimy, but this got a fountain in it.
It's like maybe like 20% worse than the one from The Shining.
Yeah. And I think at this point is when I realized what they were trying to do and failing at. This feels like someone who watched a lot of Coen Brothers films.
Oh, that I can see it a little bit.
And can't get the tone right that the Coen Brothers seem... Because the Coen Brothers always seem to perfectly manage a tone that is at once comedic and also occasionally dramatic, with the exception of a few of their movies.
Except for, No Country for Old Men.
Yes, which is not comedic in any way.
Basically.
But yeah, this feels like it's attempting to do that and failing because it can't really balance the tone correctly. Like, this is a very snappy script, but all of the dialogue goes to people who, like, aren't the main character. And so the main character is sort of given the bland dialogue, and all these side people are given, like, quote-unquote fun things to say.
There's that name for a very bad writing habit. The walking camera. In this case, our lead just walks around and events happen around her. And she exists, so we have a vector to experience them through.
Probably the worst example of it I've ever seen, really.
I would say the worst example of the walking...
tuners, for sure.
The worst example of the walking camera that I've seen has been Lincoln Rhyme because it was a literal walking camera.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but she at least had an arc. She wanted to be an FBI agent. What does this lady want?
It's true. I guess she just wants to solve her sister's murder.
Which is more of a reaction than an action.
Yeah. We also don't know.
Also for someone who is looking for her sister's murderer, she seems detached from the situation. Like,
yes.
You would expect this to be a revenge story.
Yes.
Like, why did it need to be her sister?
Like 4 people in this episode alone.
So she gets drinks with her sister's lawyer, who is
exposition man.
Yeah, and it's weird because despite all of the exposition, he's somehow the most interesting character. And that's partly because of how the episode ends, but still.
It's because he's actually connected to the main plot.
Yeah. But yeah, he gives a bunch of exposition. Even when he first meets her, he gives a bunch of exposition where he's like, "Oh yeah, they called you Pick back in the day, didn't they? That's what your sister used to always say, anyway."
That's how I pick up women, by telling them about their life stories and shared lived experiences.
Yeah, they love when other people know personal details about their life.
Yes. They also like it when I explain the jokes they just said and why they're funny, and then repeat them again. Take credit for them myself.
Yeah, that's a good one. Stairmaster's been writing a book on how to get women, and those are two.
Yeah, I like the chapter on giving them a psychoanalysis of them.
So yeah, after she's done meeting with the lawyer, she meets another group of people.
Yes, cop boys.
Yeah, cop boys. One of whom was engaged to her sister.
Gene.
Oh yeah, Gene. Captain Gene Colder, which is spelled Colder.
Hot cold man.
And then they get drinks as well. There's a lot of people getting drinks so far in this one.
I'm not sure how she makes it back to her hotel at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I think after how many times she gets a bunch of drinks with people, they need to have a scene where she goes to a bathroom. But then she also goes to a park bench, eats a hot dog, and we meet
the senator.
No, you meet the senator's aide.
Oh yeah, he says
the senator wishes to speak with you.
What's his name? Chester? Or Clarence?
Clyde Brattle.
No, that Clyde Brattle's the guy they're looking for in the Middle East. Or the war crime guy.
Oh, is he the crime guy?
Yeah, the war crime guy. Yeah.
Then I don't know this guy's name.
Kia, do you remember?
No.
Let's just say it's Clarence. That's about for the level of the script.
Yeah, he shows up and he says,
"The senator wishes to speak with you."
And also, you can see in the background the police are wrestling alligators.
Yeah, which is something. And we find out that, there's she has to go do political stuff as well because she works for this politician guy. I guess that's going to connect maybe in some way. Watching this show feels a lot like how you two probably felt watching Watchmen. This is how I think I finally experienced... Yeah, I think I experienced how Keo felt watching Watchmen.
Except this doesn't even have the cool music.
Just confused and baffled by the decisions being made and not sure how any of this works.
Yeah, well, I just kind of felt like...
Wow, cool police violence.
I kind of just felt like somebody had walked up to me and jabbed a needle into my body and sucking my blood out.
Well, I mean, I did do that while we were watching, so...
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just felt like a deflated tire, just like this show was sucking the life out of me.
Well, do we need to inflate you, Kieran? Is that the problem?
Yeah, we need to blow him.
Oh.
I don't like this phrasing.
Yeah,
I don't see the problem here.
Yeah, Keo, you need to get blown.
I think I just need some of this life juice.
Oh. You need my essence?
Yeah, you need Stairmaster's essence inside of you.
Zip?
No, I don't. Listen, I don't like this phrasing. I'm talking about this mysterious life juice.
Oh, you don't want to suck my blood. Okay, I will zip my jacket back up then. Zip?
Jacket.
Yes. It's very high to my... Yeah. So it covers most of my neck.
Yes, it's a fashion choice.
Okay, yeah, I just want to drink this life juice.
So then we get my second
Yes.
least favorite scene in the episode, because my least favorite scene is the ending. We get this gross bag of meat who is a Texas politician.
This is where she has the acid flashback.
Yeah. But we meet this this Texas politician who's like, "Oh, come on down here, mister, let's talk." He's like a big old bag of gas. And I don't really remember what happens in this.
He owns a newspaper, I think.
He owns a newspaper? I thought he was
Or he used to.
Oh, okay, I was going to say he's the politician that she needs to speak with. And she talks with him about something that doesn't seem very important to the actual events going on.
We don't really
He
learn
sounds
anything.
he kind of sounds like Frank Underwood, which isn't good either.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. You thought I was dead.
And then she goes back to the hotel and meets Clark, who sort of looks like the guy from Always Sunny.
Yeah, and then she goes into her room, and the senator is just waiting there in the dark because we're supposed to. It's what we call it's what we call in bad writing schools a fake out.
Oh, but before she goes in, there's a close up on this rotting meat that's just laying next to her door, which she seems to have no reaction to.
Oh yeah.
See, I had the brief inkling that maybe this show was going to get interesting at this part.
Because there was someone in our hotel room.
Yeah, but it turns out no.
No, instead we get like slightly older Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah, this is a fake out, which in writing terms is when you give people the idea that something interesting is going to happen, and then immediately subvert it by giving us something boring. So instead, we meet Senator Boy, and he's all like,
Did you do the thing I asked?
and he's,
For some reason, his voice is modulated, even though he's speaking in person.
no, he is more like 10 years older Pete Buttigieg. So he's like, "Did you do the thing I asked?" and she's like,
The integrity of our investigations is founded by the talent of our investigators.
And then they have sex.
Yeah,
and,
they have punch sex.
Yeah, they're both into rough stuff apparently.
At that point, I was
they don't show any sex. They just show them hit each other a few times and then start to undress.
Yeah, which didn't do the trick for you. Did it, Kieran? Didn't do the trick for you?
No,
we are
not at
fully
all.
soft here at TV Tuner. And then we cut to Pablo Escobar's mansion.
Oh yeah, she goes to this spacious mansion
with guys with machine guns and Uzis.
Yeah, all in charge of this white dude who used to work for the government.
And she is fully unfazed by this.
How did he afford this? Did he steal Saddam's gold?
Yeah, I mean, I have to assume he stole the head off of Saddam's statue and sold it on the black market.
Oh my god.
Anyway, this guy also vapes, just so we all know.
But seriously though, I'm baffled at how they could direct and write this show to have her have no reaction to any of this.
Like the giraffes, nothing. Also fake CGI, but
yeah, she doesn't even look like mildly intrigued by the fact that she's at a giant ass mansion. There's a fucking there's a literal
by soldiers of fortune.
Yeah, there's a literal safari in the back of this dude's house. And we get introduced to him just hanging out on like a throne.
And she's just like, let's get this over with.
So she brings out her like tape recorder or whatever, and she's like, all right, let's make sure this is all admissible in court. And then they just explain character background. Like that's not admissible in court. We can't just include bits of you saying, oh yeah, I remember when we grew up together there, pick.
I remember when I did all the non-specific war crimes. I beheaded all the children in Aleppo.
Yeah, he definitely helped he definitely helped kill a couple people in Pakistan.
I stuffed their neck holes with bags of heroin, smuggled them across the border.
Why is this random guy not the protagonist of this show?
You want a war crime protagonist?
Yeah, he's like 10,000 times more interesting than the protagonist we got.
Plus, he vapes.
And he has a giraffe.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, he's like the biggest scumbag, but at least he's entertaining.
Well, I mean, he's
to some
only
degree,
a cop.
right?
He's not a landlord as well.
Yeah, it's true. The biggest scumbag is technically already dead. So yeah, he's they're just hanging out, having a good old
Just
time.
hanging out.
This also doesn't really lead to anything in this episode, so I have to assume it leads somewhere later. But they have this discussion, and she leaves, and she heads back. Or no, I guess she doesn't go back to her hotel. She goes to check out her sister's apartment, and that's where she meets the sheriff guy, or whatever his deal is, who had told her that she couldn't check it out. Has he just been waiting there for hours on the off chance that she would show up tonight to look at this?
I think
Yes.
he's a pervert.
Like he's just going around getting
Breaking
off.
in. Who knows? The script doesn't.
Yeah, this is another fake out. This is another fake out where she turns the corner and he's there and he's like, "What you doing?"
What are you
She's-
buying?
And she's also unfazed by this.
Maybe she's a sociopath.
Like, what the hell? This cop shows up out of nowhere and you can't even mutter. You can't even be bothered to be interested.
I think sociopaths can still have reactions to things.
Yeah, I think the Rat Man feels fear whenever he looks at the polls.
I think if you surprise someone who's a sociopath, they would still be surprised.
Yes. They would be screaming
Yeah.
as they stabbed you.
Yes.
They'd be like, oh.
Well,
They'd be like, "Oh no."
yes, that is what Pete would sound like if you startled him.
Oh. Wait, so you're
Hold on.
on board with the Pete being a sociopath?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this like a new theory?
No, this is very old. People have been saying this for like 6 months now.
Well, I don't follow the discourse, but when I see him, I'm like, yeah, that guy's probably a sociopath.
I mean, he's like only 30 Swanson, and he's got those political beliefs.
It would explain. It would explain why I have an intense distrust with him, other than his political beliefs.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sheriff guy's like, "All right, well, you take your time, miss," and he goes on down, and she finds that there's nothing. That it looks like her apartment has been like staged, or like all of the important things have been taken.
It's a work.
Yeah, it's a work, bro. Bro, this is a shoot. This ain't a shoot, bro.
And then we get a dusty finish for this episode.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think. I'm curious what you think that means.
Well, the sheriff gets... Okay, you just tell him what happened. I thought this bit would go somewhere.
No, I just want to know what you think a dusty finish is.
That's when when you win, but then they disqualify you on a technicality. So they're sort of robbing you of the audience of Carthasis.
Yeah, in the hopes that you'll come back next time around to see him actually win.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. I was just gatekeeping you, Stairmaster.
Oh, okay, thanks. Thank you for your service.
So yeah. This detective guy's like strumming a guitar, playing a little tune. I don't know if we're supposed to be like suspicious of this man or charmed by him. Because I'm neither.
It doesn't matter now because
Oh yeah.
My reaction was the same as our protagonist.
he offers to drive her home, and then
Just
Lawyer Man
indifference.
shows up and starts babbling in French tongues.
Yeah. So yeah, he offers to take her home, and she's like, "All right, sure." Or no, he doesn't offer to take her home. She's taking her somewhere else to show her evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after she confronts him with that, she apparently, despite having dealt with like being like in a highly dangerous field, working with a politician,
Apparently.
has never picked up on the fact that this might be dangerous. That this dude is just like,
Taking
all right,
her to
sure,
a secondary location.
yes, and insisting that they go in only his car, which is
She
a
doesn't
cop
care
car.
anymore.
Well, luckily, Lawyer Man shows up.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, well, why don't you come get a drink with me, friend?" And she's like, "No, I'm not really that interested." And he's like, "All right, but you're really gonna want to get that drink."
But how about we have the alcohol?
And then he he babbles in French for a little bit, and she's like, I don't get what's going on here.
What does he say? What's that one word he keeps emphasizing? It looks like maintenance, but French.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know French. I'm just as confused as Rosario Dawson's character is when he's speaking French.
Confused, but not interested though.
Boring.
So then the car bomb there's another car bomb that goes off, and this dude's dead. And she turns back around and looks slightly bewildered, which is the most emotion we get out of her. And then you would think that's the end of the episode. Alas, no. There's still somehow 10 minutes left on this piece of shit. So how is the car bombing not the end of the episode? It seems like a great end cap. You started with a car bombing. Why not end with it?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Every frame is so dense. There's so much going on.
Instead, it doesn't rhyme at all and just sort of randomly ends.
Yeah, if you cared about what was going on.
So then we get her. Great ending. I guess this part right here, Kyorain and Stairmaster, is the crux of why she's not showing any emotion beforehand, because she breaks down here, although it feels completely unearned.
It's not very big of a breakdown.
I mean, she does have a panic attack and cry, but yeah, it doesn't feel exactly earned in any case because I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't see any sign of it except for her oral fixation.
Yeah. So then she goes back to her apartment. She yells at a shadow that she thinks she's seeing, or is
the walls are closing in on her for a moment.
Yeah. She goes into her room, and then a tiger shows up, and we get. Oh my god, I hated this. We get a solid, what was probably 30 seconds, but to me felt like 5 whole minutes of just this tiger eating some fucking meat.
It's worse
I was just waiting for this show to fucking end. And instead I have to watch this tiger go.
It's gross rotting meat. It's so awful to look at. It's like worse than seeing people do heroin in the HBO's The Corner.
What am I supposed to pick up from this tiger eating the raw meat? Is this like some sort of metaphor for the entire show?
It's bullshit.
Are we ending on this because there's a tiger loose?
It's a metaphor, and also the zoo.
It's so metaphorical.
The zoo thing is a metaphor too, and there's this deep, Swanson.
Like, is the tiger the one planting the car bombs?
Maybe.
The tigers do have an intense distrust for the police. Rightly so.
Who's feeding the tiger? It's a very good question.
Well, I don't know if anyone's feeding the tiger or if the tiger's
What, you're saying someone just left that plate of steak on the ground?
I mean, it was for her, because she wasn't in her hotel. She wasn't in her hotel room.
Oh!
Shouldn't they have somebody come by?
I have a gift for you, Rosario Dawson. It's from Cory Booker.
I guess the hotel was understaffed, so they didn't have anybody to come around and clean it up.
Oh,
I guess.
Is Rosario Dawson canceled for those things she did to that trans man?
Why are we talking about this?
Oh, that's the end of the episode. We're going to talk about her performance anyways. What happened? Like, was the director just telling her not to emote whatsoever?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
The opposite of George
with
Lucas saying faster and with more emotion.
Yeah, she's just saying no.
Yeah, I got the impression that it was very deliberate that they wanted her to be as emotionless and dry as possible.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
I'm wondering if they're going to keep doing this the whole show, because this is bad. It's really bad.
It's not great.
It's not great.
The car bombings aren't great either.
It's not often that we watch television shows on this program where I am begging for the end to happen. But this was one of those. Me. Well, yeah, but you're also a cynical asshole that no one wants to talk to.
Yeah, that is true.
Except for us. We love you, buddy.
If you don't want to talk to me, tell us on TV Tuners at twitter.com.
But yeah. I don't know what I want from this.
I want it to be over.
Yeah, I didn't this show was all over the place. It was
if they didn't have this awful protagonist, then this might have been salvageable. But just
it was like a kangaroo that had gone loose from the zoo. It was all over. It was hopping all over the place.
Just let Rosario Dawson act. She can do it. We know.
Like what we're saying is, if the protagonist doesn't care, why should we?
Yeah, if the protagonist can't be bothered to muster up any semblance of care for the fact that her sister is dead, then I don't know why I'm gonna care. And the other thing is, if you're doing a thing of making a point of her not showing any emotion, you gotta let me know that that's what you're doing before you get to the part where I'm supposed to feel big emotions.
Yeah, give her a scene before she goes to talk to somebody where she's lets out a deep sigh and hunches over and it breathes for 10 seconds, then gets her composure and walks out and acts like that.
Yeah.
Also, you know what? Even the guy with no pants didn't seem to care all that much when a car bomb went off right in front of him.
No,
he was like, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
Oh gosh.
I don't know. Maybe he's in on it.
Maybe
the car bomb was in his pants.
I mean, well, let's talk about that car bombing at the beginning, because what were the mechanics behind that?
You mean how did they do the effect? It looks like they had prior techniques, but
was the car rigged to explode the second time she started it?
I think that's when the engine fired. It sounded like,
but she drove there, right?
Yes, since she's not living in that apartment, you'd think she would drove there, but
did she walk there and her car was parked out front?
I guess,
yeah, did somebody quickly run in and set the bomb up? While I didn't understand that.
Yeah, I guess that would have had to happen with the sheriff as well, since he drove to the apartment.
Well, it's hard to tell how long he's been waiting there, to be fair.
Or was somebody watching and had a remote control bomb and exploded at that exact moment when she started the car?
I'm pretty sure it explodes when you set the ignition, but I don't know, because they both do that. But at some point that means you had to have quickly set up a car bomb in the same location 2 separate times.
And it's not a good car bomb either. It's more like a big burst of flame than an explosion. I want to see some windows shatter.
Oh, that wasn't in the budget.
Yeah, that got taken by the CGI kangaroo that didn't even look good.
Yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts on this bad boy?
Oh, this isn't Bad Boy. What was that show? LA's Finest.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I wasn't here for that.
Good. That was better than this.
You thought that was better than this?
Yes. I mean, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
I mean, I don't know if it's the worst thing we've ever watched, but it's not a great show. I don't know if there's anything I can really recommend from it. When you mess up Rosario Dawson, you're doing a bad job.
Yeah, that's a tune out for me.
Yeah,
that is a maximum tune out for me.
Ooh, maximum. Yeah, that's a tune out. Alright, well that looks like, officially, that's a tune out for Briarpatch. Better luck next time, USA. And that will about do it for this week's episode of the show. We'll be back next week with more TV goodness. Until then, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
I found him.
Hey folks, it's time for the TV Tuners Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster was once an NFL star quarterback?
That's right.